fed up of being paraded around and
is driving.
It started as quiet chatter, late-night calls, and worried whispers from people who once called him the fun royal with the crooked grin. But now those same friends are speaking differently, using heavier words they never imagined they'd use about him. "He's not the same," one of them told a reporter off the record, sounding shaken. Harry, once the world's adored rebel prince, is said to be breaking down, not over scandal, not over cash, but over something deeper that's been eating at him for years. The slow collapse of a life built on mixed messages and impossible choices. He walked away from a kingdom to protect his peace.
Magically get better on their own and everyone else will figure it out so that he doesn't have to? That sounds like...
But now peace is the one thing slipping out of his hands as everyone keeps hoping things will magically fix themselves so he doesn't have to face the storm. People close to him swear the signs have been flashing for months. The long stretches away from home, the tired face in photos, the public comments that jump from bold pride to aching homesickness. And then came the rumours, unconfirmed but refusing to disappear, that he and his glamorous wife are living separate lives right inside their Montecito mansion.
I think he's just living in the past. Meghan told him that and told us that he's still very much...
One source didn't sugarcoat it. She's running the empire. He's trying to survive it. At first, nobody wanted to buy into it. They were supposed to be unstoppable, the runaway royals who tore up the rulebook and rebuilt their future under the California sun. But somewhere along the road, something broke, something silent but sharp. He started missing his old circle, the jokes, the noise, the messy palace chaos he once swore he'd escaped forever. And now those same friends are watching from across the ocean, with worry creeping into every conversation. He's trapped, one insider said. Emotionally, mentally, maybe even physically, it's not what he thought it would be. The cracks became visible when a strange online article appeared under his name, an essay about British courage and national pride that felt stiff and unnatural. He didn't write that, one of his old military buddies insisted. He couldn't have. The tone sounded engineered, like something crafted by a team trying to repaint him as patriotic again. But the message exploded online for one reason. It hinted he missed home, deeply, openly, almost painfully. The internet lost its mind. Was it a peace offering? A coded SOS? A shift nobody expected? For many people, it felt like watching a familiar movie repeat itself. Another emotional twist in a saga that refuses to slow down. But for those who truly know him, this wasn't entertainment. It was a red flag waving in plain sight. He's trying to signal something, one friend claimed. He's tired, he's lost, and he doesn't know who he is anymore. Behind all the polished photos and carefully fixed appearances, insiders say he's torn between two versions of himself, the disciplined prince he used to be, and the restless outsider he's become. Meanwhile, his wife, ambitious, sharp, always planning her next move, is rumoured to be frustrated with how fragile he's become emotionally. She shines under the spotlight while he shrinks from it, and the gap between them keeps widening. She's plotting new projects, new media plays, new influence. All he wants is peace, quiet, and a sense of who he used to be. They're moving in different directions, another friend said.
Harry is planning a shameless return to the UK in 2026 with a plan to, and I quote, sow the seeds for a
She wants global influence. He wants to go home. Those close to them say Harry has secretly started reaching out to people back home. Not officials, not royals, but old friends, former team members, veterans he trusts. He's asking questions, the kind that reveal what's really on his mind. Logistics, possibilities, what a return would even look like. The word comeback is now the most feared word in his circle because going back after everything said and done would be nearly impossible. But staying where he is, that might be even harder. One former aide put it sharply. He traded palace walls for a shiny cage in California. At least in the palace he knew the rules. Now his life feels like non-stop chaos, non-stop noise, non-stop battles for attention, sympathy, or narrative control, and he's losing himself in all of it. And then came the latest public clip, the one that went viral in hours. A sports event where he sat stiffly beside his wife, eyes empty, forcing a smile while she waved eagerly for the cameras. The video spread everywhere, fast and furious. He looked like a hostage. one commentator joked, and even through the humor, the line hit people hard because he looked like a hostage. Many people saw it the same way, a man trapped in a life that was supposed to set him free, but now looks more like a cage he never planned for. Even American media, who once cheered for the couple non-stop, has flipped the script. Talk show hosts crack jokes about what they call his California captivity, while analysts break down his body language like detectives solving a case. Every blink, every sigh becomes a headline, and through all the noise, he stays silent.
Added, Harry wants to go back to the UK so bad, it's scary. He's on the verge.
Or maybe he's being kept quiet. He doesn't have control anymore, a Hollywood insider said, someone who knows how their PR machine works. Every word he says goes through 3 layers of approval. Every appearance is calculated, every step rehearsed. It's not a partnership anymore, it's management. And while that plays out, whispers of tension from inside the Montecito bubble keep slipping out. They barely show up together unless it's for the cameras. And he's seen chilling in the guest house or traveling solo under the banner of charity trips. He's not okay, another source admitted with real worry. He's exhausted, and he's realizing that leaving the royal family didn't fix what was hurting inside him. Instead, he traded one mess for another, drowning in brand new problems. It's a painful twist. He said he left to protect his mental health, yet now he's caught in a psychological spiral he never saw coming. Friends say he's carrying guilt like heavy luggage. The things he said, the bonds he broke, and the creeping fear that the life he built might not even be his anymore. Lately, rumours say he's been speaking again to a therapist back in the UK, the same person who helped him during his army years. He's even been spotted without his wedding ring in multiple public photos, though his team brushes it off like it's nothing. Meanwhile, tabloids are having a feeding frenzy. Words like collapse, meltdown, and separation are everywhere. Loud, messy, dramatic. But behind the noise sits a much sadder truth. What happens when a man who gave up everything for love realizes that love alone can't hold his whole world up? When a prince who traded duty for freedom realizes that freedom comes with a price he didn't expect? For all the chaos and headlines, people who knew him back when he was just Harry say one thing stayed the same: his heart. He's still that man who walked behind his mother's coffin, carrying her memory and wishing people would see him as a person, not a symbol. But now, as one old friend whispered, he's disappearing again. And this time it's not into the army or into palace routine, it's into himself. And that's what scares them the most, because if he breaks this time, the comeback might not exist. By dawn, the whispers had exploded into headlines everywhere. The phrase "Prince on the brink" was trending non-stop across every major platform. UK tabloids were the first to jump in, but American outlets followed fast, throwing out photos of him looking drained next to his glowing, camera-ready wife. The contrast was harsh enough to sting. One headline shouted, "The smile that hides a breakdown." Another went even tougher. Harry's lost his way and Meghan's already moving on. His team tried shutting down the storm early. Anonymous sources told People magazine that he was in great spirits and focused on humanitarian work, but the tone felt forced, like someone reading lines they didn't believe. Behind the scenes, his friends weren't acting like PR spokespeople. They were stepping in like protectors who'd seen too much. Just as the court decision was creeping into public talk, one old military buddy broke the unspoken royal code and talked to a trusted reporter. "He's not well," he said plainly. "He's overworked, overwhelmed, and isolated. He misses being around people who don't expect anything from him." That single comment blew up everywhere because, for once, someone wasn't blaming the palace, the media, or fame's pressure. They were pointing at the life he chose, or maybe the person who led him into it. And that's when things got personal fast. Podcasts lit up with theories. Was Meghan steering the ship too hard? Had she pushed him past his limits? Was he finally regretting leaving the family that shaped him? The tone wasn't gentle. It was sharp, messy, and full of speculation designed to sting while pretending to care. Then, just when it seemed like the chaos was swallowing him whole, something unexpected happened. His old friends stepped up and quietly started organising. Veterans, schoolmates, and longtime aides creating a private group chat, trying to pull him back before the pressure crushed him for good. The goal wasn't gossip. It was a rescue mission. "He's not listening to anyone in Hollywood," one of them told The Telegraph. He needs people who remember who he was before all this. Their worry wasn't casual anymore. It was urgent. One of his old military comrades even flew to California pretending he had a charity gala to attend, but everyone knew his real mission was checking on Harry face to face. He looked broken, the friend later said, sounding shaken. He kept saying he wanted normalcy, but every time he talked about going home, she'd change the subject. And by she, he meant Meghan. No confusion there. That same week, the Times reported something heavy. The couple had been living almost separate lives inside their own mansion. Separate offices, separate PR teams, separate circles, like two brands under one roof.
Inundated with offers for movies over the 8 years since she retired from show.
The article even claimed Meghan was quietly reshaping herself into a solo powerhouse, lining up meetings with big executives, fashion heavyweights, and political consultants. There was a new identity forming in plain sight, a brand that didn't need him at all. Her team didn't deny any of it. Instead, Meghan made her move. Late at night, she posted a perfectly polished video on her lifestyle platform. Soft lights, smooth piano, everything styled to perfection. She talked about empathy, misunderstanding, and finding strength in chaos. But not once did she mention her husband. Not once did she shut down the rumours. And her final line cut sharp. Sometimes people mistake silence for weakness, but silence is power. The kind that protects you while the world decides what it believes. It was elegant, strategic, and ice cold. The internet exploded. Supporters praised her calm confidence, but critics saw something else: distance, control, calculation. One viral tweet nailed the mood. Meghan just gave the calmest "I'm done with him" speech in history. And honestly, many thought the same thing. Meanwhile, Harry's friends weren't backing down. Behind the scenes, they started reaching out to contacts in the UK, old aides, senior staff, even a couple of sympathetic voices inside the royal household. The big question was whispered everywhere. If Harry wanted to come back, would the door be open? The answer was complicated. The door is open, one palace insider admitted. But not without conditions. Trust had been shattered, and rebuilding it wouldn't be easy. Still, for those who cared about him, even the smallest chance felt like hope, because the alternative, watching him sink deeper into exhaustion, was too much to handle. As one former bodyguard put it, he's gone from being a soldier who fought for his country to a man fighting his own reflection across social media, and that hit people hard. Soon, concern turned into obsession online. TikTok, YouTube, Instagram, everywhere, people started posting side-by-side clips, old footage of a laughing, carefree Harry at royal events, versus the recent clips where he looked drained and lost. The change was painful to watch. Hashtags like #SaveHarry and #BringHimHome started flooding feeds, and even sympathy added pressure. For Meghan, it was the start of a new wave, a slow, growing backlash she couldn't fully control. Her once unshakable fan base began splitting apart. Some defended her strongly, calling the narrative unfair, but others started questioning everything. The perfect branding, the constant reinvention, the emotional coolness during moments that should have felt genuine. She's protecting her brand, one Hollywood journalist said bluntly, not her husband. And yet, if she felt the criticism, she never showed it. Her next appearance was spotless. A red carpet charity event in Beverly Hills. She looked glowing in a tailored gown, smiling like the world wasn't on fire. Reporters shouted questions about her marriage, but she glided past them like she'd rehearsed it. "She's untouchable," one photographer said. But she looked alone. Meanwhile, back in Montecito, things were falling apart. Multiple sources said Harry had pulled back from everything. He cancelled appearances, skipped board meetings, and stopped answering calls from advisors. His staff described him as quiet, distracted, unreachable. "It's like he's living in a fog," one aide whispered. "You can see it in his eyes. He's there, but he's not there." Even people close to Meghan started getting nervous. She was spotted without her wedding ring again, and insiders claimed the couple were sleeping in separate wings of the mansion now. "It's not official," one Hollywood PR source said, but the split energy is undeniable. He was collapsing emotionally, and she was shifting into survival mode. British commentators began calling it what they believed it was: the endgame. Piers Morgan labelled it the slowest royal implosion in modern history. Even more sympathetic voices like Tom Brad admitted on air, it's clear something's deeply wrong. He looks like a man who's lost his compass. Then came the spark that set everything off. A leaked voicemail between two mutual friends. In it, Harry was heard saying something painfully honest. "I don't know who I am anymore. I just want it all to stop." The message spread across social media before it was taken down, and his team rushed to call it a gross invasion of privacy, but by then the damage was already done. Because now the story wasn't gossip, it wasn't scandal, it was survival. Behind the headlines, behind the staged smiles and polished statements, the world saw one truth clearly. The prince who once fought to save himself might now need saving from the life he chose. And as one former royal aide grimly put it, he thought he was escaping the palace. He didn't realise he was walking into another one. This one just has glass walls. If you want the next piece rewritten, drop it in. And make sure to like, subscribe, share and comment to keep this story rolling.